Perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and of course, for your interest in the Luksic Scholarship for Public Service at Sciences Po, located in Paris, France. My name is Gabrielle Trasati, and I'm the Outreach Coordinator for the Luksic Scholars Foundation. And so we'll go ahead and get started with the information session today. Just to share a bit of how this event will work, I'll start with sharing some brief information about the foundation itself, and then we'll hear directly from Larissa Frozel Barros, who's the International Affairs Manager for Latin America at Sciences Po. She'll be able to tell us about the university itself, the programs and the masters that are available, specific details on the Luksic Scholarship, and of course, the application and financial aid processes so that you guys have all of that information on hand and know how to apply, what that process looks like. We'll then hear from Daniela Núñez Herrera. She's a Luksic Scholar who is in her first year of her master's in public policy degree. So you'll be able to hear some firsthand advice and experience from her as a current student there on campus now. Hence why this session is at 9 a.m. We're accommodating different time zones here. And then when we near the end of the event, feel free to ask any questions, even in Spanish, if you would like. Se puede hacer preguntas en español. And we will hopefully get to all of those. If we cannot, we'll give you an email that you can reach out to the Sciences Po team directly. And then we'll share a recording of this event with you guys via email, and it will be made available online. So I will be brief. I just wanted to share information on the foundation. So our first program was actually created 20 years back. That's when our journey began, with the goal to always provide Chileans with access to academic opportunities that will help strengthen their leadership skills and knowledge. The first program was in collaboration with the Harvard David Rockefeller Center for Latin American Studies. This was to support Chilean academics going to the US, for example, and accessing the library resources there at Harvard. And since then, many different types of programs were implemented, about 30 over 30 to be exact. And this was in partnership with 18 universities and across 7 different countries. So we're talking Chile, China, Croatia, France, of course, the US, and the UK. And as a result, more than 1,800 scholars have participated in these initiatives, Daniela included. And in 2019, we sort of looked back and saw, wow, there's almost 1,500 people who've participated. Let's see what they have in common. Let's gather them together. And that's when we created an alumni community, so the Luksic Scholars community. And a year after, that's when we officially became a foundation. In terms of our guiding principles and all the work that we do, of course, we want all of our work to align with country vision. So we want to make sure that we're sort of in sync with Chile's development, keeping in mind that today's challenges are, of course, both global and interdisciplinary. The second is connectedness. So we're hoping to create and strengthen bridges, not only within Chile, but also Chile and the world. And we do this by collaborations with academic institutions such as Sciences Po. And then lastly, plurality is that making sure a diverse range of people and talent throughout Chile are able to access the opportunities we support. So for example, sharing this information with friends, hosting these information sessions, that certainly helps spread the word. In terms of the current work that we do, we have 3 types of programs that we support. So of course, today we'll be talking about the Luksic Scholarship. So these are master's scholarships for those who are looking to really craft their skills and gain more knowledge in their field, and this one specifically related to public service. So through these scholarships, we're hoping that you feel that, okay, I'm now a trained expert and leader in my field. The other two, research funding, we're hoping will allow for the development and promotion of local knowledge to help better sort of position Chilean academia and put Chile on the map. And then we have bespoke programs, which are personalized programs to help train individuals in certain skill sets that will benefit their field. And then my favorite part, I might be a bit biased, but is the Luksic Scholars community. So of course, there's sort of this before, during, and after accompanimiento that we do. So once you sort of finish your program, you are invited to join. This is completely voluntary. Join the community where you connect with other scholars, either within your field or outside of your field, but all of those sort of 1,800 that have participated prior. We have annual funding opportunities. For example, we organize little breakfasts so you guys get to know each other, and it's quite fun. And then the Luksic Scholarship itself, of course, I will let Larissa, our expert, give you guys more information on this, but our partnership with Ciencias Po began in 2021. And since then, 7 Chilean students have received these scholarships. They are full scholarships. So the idea is that you're able to arrive on campus. You do not need to worry about finances. You can focus on your studies. You can focus on the extra curricular activities that are offered on campus. And as well as and have fun and network with your current peers. So it covers full tuition, a monthly living stipend, which is based off of an analysis that was done with Ciencias Po on the current cost of living. So we do make sure that it is balanced, for example, and then any arrival and travel costs of sort of getting yourself settled there are taken care of. It is important to note that the foundation does not participate or interfere in the admissions selection or adjudication processes. We leave these in the hands of the experts, which are the universities themselves. So that is all from me. Thanks again for joining us, and I will pass it along to Larissa.
Thank you very much, Gabrielle. I just share my screen. Okay. Here. Okay, thank you everyone for being here to learn a little bit more about Sciences Po. So as Gabriela introduced me, I'm the International Affairs Manager for Latin America. I work in the International Affairs Division. Part of my job is to promote Sciences Po and the cooperation we have with the region. But just to be clear, I'm not part of the admissions team. So although I do this part to answer your questions about admissions, I'm not part of the team who evaluate the applications. Just to give you a context, so Sciences Po is a university with quite international student body. We have nowadays 15,000 students, and half of it, they come from outside France. This is quite new because Sciences Po started 150 years ago after the Franco-Prussian War. So the goal of the founder of Sciences Po, Emily Boutmy, was to rebuild the country and the political elite of the country. So in the beginning, most of them were men, and then women get inside the university. And in the past 20 years, we had a quite transformation. So we started to welcome international students. And after a lot of effort, today we have more than 400 partner universities who know how our academic excellence and help us to attract international students. So nowadays we are the third in the QS ranking for politics and international studies. And as I said, 50% of our students are international, and more than like 150 universities are represented inside our campus. We have a lot of programs in the master's level, but we also have 5 programs in the PhD. Today, I'm introducing you just the master's level because it's where we have this partnership with Luksic Foundation. But to give you a context, from the 50,000 students that we have in our campuses, 7,000 are master's students, 31% of them are international, 11% are binational, and then the rest of it, 58%, are French students. And it's important to say that we have different schools. We have 7 graduate schools, and the percentage of international schools will vary a little bit from one school to another. I'm listing here the 7 graduate schools, but to be clear, the scholarship for public service it only applies for the School of Public Affairs. That's where Daniela is studying today, and we will help you and give you a little bit of her impression about it, and the Paris School of International Affairs. So the other schools that are listed here, I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of how diverse we are in the master's level, but they are not, they don't apply for the scholarship that we are discussing today. So I will start with the School of Public Affairs. It's a school that have both courses in English and in French, and you can both apply. You can apply to both. You just have to fulfill the language requirements. And although in the name of the school we are talking about public affairs, we also have students that, with their diploma, go to study in the private sector related to the public affairs sector, but in the private sector. So it's not something that you have to work in the administration of your home country or another country. You can also work in the private sector. So basically, this school, she offers it offers 2 master's degree, one in public policy and other in European affairs. Both of them you have 2 tracks, so you can either choose to study in English or in French. And what is interesting is that once you are inside your master's diploma, you have to choose a policy stream. So we have this list of policy stream that you can see here in the screen. It's quite diverse. And you can, of course, either choose to do it as well in French or English, according with your master's choice. This school is not the most international one, but it has 19% of international students and 10% of binationals. And in the right of this slide, you can see there is a list of dual master's degree. They are not open for the scholarship, but I wanted to list because this shows how the background of the international students. Most of them, of course, the French ones as well, but most of the international students, they come as well from a dual master's degree. And it's interesting to have contact with these students because it's a way of developing networking. So you are developing network with people that have this experience in Sciences Po, but people that that are also developing their network in other country with another university. And I would say that the international environment in Sciences Po is quite important and valuable. And the networking, I would say, is one of the privilege that the students have when they are at Sciences Po. This is where the students from the public affairs school are working today. So as you can see, they can work, of course, in the public administration, but they can also go to international organizations, work with NGOs, culture, press, and different sectors. So it doesn't mean that you are obliged to take this diploma and go for the public administration. For the Paris School of International Affairs, this is the most international schools that we have here at Sciences Po, because it's a school 100% in English. So all their programs are in English. And most of our international students choose to come to this school. Here, the master's offer is broader. We have 8 possibilities. So it comes from international security, international economic policy, international development, international energy, human rights and humanitarian action, environmental policy, international governance and diplomacy, and journalism and international affairs. Journalism and international affairs is a specific program where students can do 1 year in the Sciences Po School of Journalism and 1 year at PCA to have this international component of the curriculum. So it's quite a dual degree inside Sciences Po. You are eligible if you are applying for the scholarship, but keep in mind that this is the exception in this school. They will require you a French level because the journalism is a career quite that has to fulfill a lot of rules here at Sciences Po. Even though you are coming from the international perspective, they require some French. The difference between this master's degree and the master's degree that I showed in the public affairs school is that in the public affairs school, you are choosing one policy stream, and here in PSIA, so the Paris School of International Affairs, you have the option to choose 2 concentrations. We are not talking anymore about policy streams, we are talking about concentrations. So we offer 6 regional concentrations and 13 thematic concentrations. Our advice to students is to choose 1 regional and 1 thematic concentration, so you can have a different a specialized component in your diploma. But of course, if you want to choose 2 regional or 2 thematic instead of 1 of each, you can choose as well. In the same way, in the right, you can see the dual degree list. Again, you are not eligible for it, but it shows the component of the international component and the valuable network that you can develop inside this school. So 62% of students are international, 10% binational, and then 28% French students. In the Paris School of International Affairs, the employment is even more diverse, of course, with international organizations, but they can also go to the public sector. So you don't need to do public affairs school if you want to go to the public sector. You can even have this international background. You can go to press as well, communication, urbanism, banking, and NGOs, and etc. This is the distribution. So from all schools, I'm not talking just about Paris School of International Affairs or Public Affairs School. All of your master's students, this is how they are distributed in the road today. About the admissions to a master program. So the application, it's an online application in our admission web page. If you type in Google Sciences Po admissions, you go straight to the admissions web page. There is no written test or interview. It's about like we call in French, a dossier. So you build a portfolio, and we will evaluate your profile, reviewing this online application. You have to submit between October to November. We say that, but the deadline, it goes sometimes November, sometimes December. So just to be clear, this year is the 3rd of December. But we say October, November because like you cannot miss the 3rd of December. Everything has to be submitted. So you have to organize yourself to do it between October and November. And when you are in our admission web page, you do not see a Luksic scholarship for public service. You have to choose the Emily Bootsme scholarship. It's this one that you have to indicate, and then we will know, as you were coming from Chile, that you are applying for the public service scholarship at Sciences Po. So you must be a Chilean national who are originally resident in Chile. So we don't accept dual citizenship from any European country. Other dual citizenships we accepted, but not with European countries. Then I read this just to be clear. For the avoidance of doubt, Chilean nationals currently living outside Chile solely for the purpose of study shall be deemed to be ordinarily resident in Chile, just to be clear. So the selection criteria, as I was saying, it's a dossier, it's a portfolio that will evaluate your academic excellence, your motivation, your relevant experience, academic and professional, your financial background and the need you have, and the social diversity. So of course, we work with the foundation and we are looking for Chileans from all over the country, not just from Santiago, with different backgrounds. If you are the first of your family to have access to university, this is something that we take into account. The region where you are coming from, also the gender parity. So we take all of this into account. In the SciencePo webpage, you have to upload your motivation letter. You have to indicate your personal objectives, extracurricular activities. If any of you is doing the French bachelor degree, I think we never had, but in case you are doing your bachelor degree here in France, then you will have to go to an interview, but it's the only exception. Any other bachelor degree from all over the world, you don't need to go through an interview, okay? It's just the application. And please don't forget to choose the Emily Bootsme Scholarship. So this is our tuition fee. And our agreement, our cooperation with the foundation is that you receive 35,000 per year. So as Gabrielle said before, this amount it's per year, and will help you not only with the tuition fees, but also with all the costs that you have here in France. And the idea is that you don't have to worry about any financial elements. You focus on your academic and professional development. And to finish, of course, SciencePo is not only about what we have inside the classroom. We also have a service and student life. So for the service, we have student house service, but to be clear, we don't have housing inside the campus. So we are in the heart of Paris. It's an urban campus. We are in historical buildings, and we don't have housing inside the campus. What we do have is a student service housing. They are not responsible to find you a housing, but they have information that can help you. For some situations, we can even put you in the list of our partnerships with student residents. Coming from the government or private initiatives. We have a database of landlords that we have been working with them for a few years, but I have to be honest, Paris is quite challenging when you have to find housing. It's possible, and with the scholarship, you have enough money to do it, but it's one of the components that you have to think about it and do your research carefully. We have also financial and student support. So as you are a Chilean national, you need a visa and a residence permit. We have a team that can help you with this. And of course, if you are a student that need any extra academic how to say accompagnement, follow up, you can access the student service department, especially the team that take care of the disability and accessibility team. These are a few YouTube videos that maybe if you want to take a screenshot of this screen, you can have a little bit an idea of the Paris School of International Affairs, of the School of Public Affairs, our campuses. So just to solve this question that sometimes comes up, we are SciencePo Paris, but we have 7 campuses in different cities in France. But all of our master's and PhD programs are in the Paris campus. The other campus, they just offer the bachelor degree. So you don't have the option to go to another campus from Sciences Po. You will be based in Paris, okay? If you want to download our brochure, you can do it as well. Yeah. The virtual graduate open house, unfortunately, it was last Saturday, but we do have in this web page where you can sign up. So you won't sign up. We have a recording of the sessions that we have with the teams. If you didn't have the opportunity to come, please take a look in the web page. And if you have any questions, you can contact me. So I leave here also a generic email account. If I can ask you if you can contact me through this second email, so latinamerica.caribbean@sciencespo.fr. It's me, okay? It's just because in my personal email, like the volume of email, it's quite big, and sometimes I take a lot of time and I cannot see what is urgent. But in the Latin America, I also manage this email, but I can manage the volume and I can answer faster than when I am my personal email. But you can reach out on both of them. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will leave it the
Awesome.
floor maybe to Gabriel. Yeah.
Thanks, Larissa. Perfect. You're so great. Awesome. So now we will, I know there's a few questions, Larissa, here already in the chat. I've been sort of getting to some now, but we're going to hear from Daniela, who's currently there on campus and actually has a class right after this. So we're very lucky to get her in her time. Daniela, it would be great if you could introduce yourself, provide a bit of your academic and professional background, and then share your motivations as to why Sciences Po and why Masters in Public Policy.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really happy to share my experience. Well, I'm a physiotherapist. I hold a master's degree in health administration as well. Back in Chile, I work in clinical environments, especially with elderly population. And I also work in a private university overseeing the coordination of internships within the physiotherapy school. And last year, I decided that I wanted to move forward in my professional career in the field of public policy. And that's when I started looking for international programs. And that's where Sciences Po Public Policy Masters comes in. Actually, now I'm a student at the Masters in Public Policy in the health stream in the Schools of Public Affairs that Larissa mentioned before. And I chose Sciences Po because of its prestigious reputation and renowned faculty in the field of social sciences. I saw that in the website, and now that I'm here, I can see that the university has a multidisciplinary approach and a global perspective, which align perfectly with my career goals. And also, at least in my program in the public affairs school, but I think that also in SIA, you can adapt your curriculum according to your personal interests. So for example, in the core courses, in the electives, you do meet people from other concentrations, from other streams that make your program even stronger. And that's one of the things that I like, of course. And you can also network, which is really important regarding job opportunities for the future, right? In terms of my master's, I think, well, I'm, as I said, in the Master of Public Policy, and I think it will provide me a comprehensive understanding of public analysis, policy analysis, formulation, implementation, and will expose me to the diverse perspective and best practices in healthcare policy from all around the world, not just France, not just Europe, but from all around the world. And for me, that's invaluable as moving forwards and towards contributing to effective healthcare policies in Chile or in other areas. And in terms of the skills that I want to learn and the skills that I'm sure I will learn, it's about policy analysis, data-driven decision-making, program evaluation. And with that also the ability to communicate complex policy to different stakeholders, which is a very important issue that we, in the first semester, we are already talking about. So I think it's a very comprehensive and well-rounded program, and I'm happy to be part of it.
No, and congrats, Daniela. And I think it's quite a testament to know that you don't have to come from a traditionally social science background or anything sort of related to political science to be applying to these public service programs. It's quite a transversal field, so to say. And thanks for sharing your experience. Also, could you just tell us a bit about how the application process was, and if you would have any advice for those joining us today?
Sure. Well, I would say that the application process was thorough, but very well structured. For me, it began when I started looking at the website, the characteristics of the institution, the university, and the program that caught my attention. I was between two, social policy and innovation and the health stream, and then I moved to the health stream. And I also attended a Sciences Po presentation at Instituto Francés Chile. I don't know if it's still something they do, but that was very helpful to better understand the university in the application process. So with that presentation and all the information that is available in the website, I started gathering all the documents that includes diplomas, academic transcripts, the letters of recommendation, the statement of purpose, and the CV. And that's where maybe my biggest piece of advice would be, is to start the process. I mean, right now, you see that the deadline is the 3rd of December, approximately. So you have to go to universities if you don't have them already, to gather your diplomas, gather the transcripts, but also, and that's maybe like the bottleneck, is to go to the education, the foreign affairs ministry, to translate and have the official translations of these documents, because you have to have it in English or in French, depending on your the program you want to take and the language you want to choose. And that's not fast. Our national institutions in this regard don't work fast enough. And you also have to pay, so be aware of that. A good start, I mean, today. And also choose the correct persons that you will ask to write the letters of recommendations. Talk to them about your project, your future project, why you have chosen them, and see if they can commit with the requirement and within the due date, because it's also important. And then just go and open your account. You will see it's very easy. If you already have another online account, this is pretty much the same, just uploading these documents. But then you will see your progress as well. So you have like a vision of what you're missing and the dates, which is really, really important. So it is not difficult, but you have to be really concentrated and pushing forward to end the process correctly.
Perfect. Thanks, Daniela. And just lastly, could you share a bit on what the pre-arrival and arrival process has been like in terms of housing, the support and extracurricular activities you're finding there?
Sure. In terms of arrival processes, I would say that I have had the help of campus funds regarding the visa requirements, the interview, health insurance, the different activities and requirements you have to fulfill before coming to funds. Also here, Sciences Po has a lot of information in their website to the international students. So you have these two institutions that will help you a lot. And with housing, well, as Larissa said, it is a big issue in Paris. So I would suggest that once you are accepted, you immediately should start looking for accommodation. There's a lot of help from Sciences Po, but it's not mandatory that you have to arrange accommodations. So be aware of that and start looking for your own. You have, for example, Cité Universitaire, which is where I live, and I go through my direct application to Cité Internationale and not through Sciences Po. So there's a lot of options, but it is an issue on you have to be aware of that and start looking for these websites where you can access accommodation for students, special for students.
Thanks,
But once
Daniela.
you're here, it's just enjoying the city and studying a lot because it's a very intense program, but you can do both.
And what we did last year is we got Daniela and the other two scholars selected for this year. We got them on a call with the students in their second year who are on campus to help sort of share advice and support. So you definitely have the support of the foundation and other fellow scholars, as well as Sciences Po. So we hope that, you know, we want you to feel supported, of course, in the pre-arrival process and while you're there as well.
Yes, well, that was very helpful. And now that I met Santiago, which was the person who helped us last year, so we are also like a Chilean community within an international community. So it's great, actually.
Perfect. Thanks. Awesome. Well, we can start. I know that there were a few questions in the chat already that we've been able to get to. I know there's a specific one from Javier. Larissa, he's asking when an applicant would know whether he or she received the scholarship or not, sort of when that selection process happens, if you have that information.
I don't have the specific date, but it's just next year because the deadline is in December. And then in the beginning of the year, we'll start to evaluate all the applications. And then we have a jury to decide who are, like who they choose. So I would say, do you remember, Daniela, when you got the answer? I think it was March or April. I would have to check, I'm sorry.
I got back from the application to that I was accepted in the master around early March, I would say, and then for the scholarship early April.
Yeah, so exactly, yeah.
It's not together.
Yeah, they are independent information. You can be admitted at Sciences Po and not be admitted for the scholarship. Thank you for, yeah, but I don't have the precise date, but I was right about April, March, and April. Thank you, Daniela.
Javier, I hope that helps answer your question. And then Florencia has a question in terms of encouraging traveling with family. I would say in terms of that, it was really quite dependent on your personal circumstances, what you're looking for in a program, how feasible that is traveling with a family or not. Do keep in mind that the scholarship is only available for the student, for the selected scholar. So it's important to keep that in mind when considering other dependents as well as visa purposes as well. Larissa, Daniela, I don't know if you have any sort of advice, information.
No, at Sciences Po, we accept any candidate. This is not a component that we worry about or that we check. But as Gabriel said, just be careful, meaning the life in Paris, the cost of living in Paris, it's quite elevated. As Daniela was saying, I mentioned before as well, it's quite difficult to find a place to stay. So if you're staying with your family, I would say the conditions, unless you have a lot of money, the conditions of your place will not be the same that when you are in Chile. I'm just being honest and transparent. Like it's a personal choice, but be aware that you have to face a lot of bureaucracy. This is something, as always, France say it's quite a bureaucratic country. The French administration, you have to be really patient and insist about a lot of things. So just check like visa component for your family, you and a family, how much it would cost for you and family, and etc. But about applying into Sciences Po is not a problem at all. Thank you for
Perfect.
sharing the email, Gabriel. I don't have access to all the the
No
people who
worries.
are attending the webinar.
Oh, I see. I'll make you co-host. Awesome. Well, it seems that there are no more questions. We do hope that you guys feel motivated to apply, excited as well. It's great to know you're considering an international program, especially Sciences
Yeah.
Po.
Can I just add two points that I forgot, Gabriel, before ending up this session? So first of all, because I saw a question that you answered, but just to be clear, this scholarship doesn't apply for dual degrees and neither for 1 year master's degree. So here we are talking just about the master's degree that I listed. They are 2 years master's degree, okay? And something really important I forgot, it's about the component of this 2 years master's degree. So you spend 3 years, 3 semesters, I'm sorry, 3 semesters inside Sciences Po and 1 semester outside Sciences Po. This semester outside Sciences Po, you have the option to do an internship, to do a master's thesis, or to go abroad to one of or more than 400 partner universities for 1 semester abroad. So this is something that it's the component of our academic offer, and I forgot to mention, I'm really sorry, but it's important to understand that you have to build your own project for this semester abroad. So the first year is always inside Sciences Po, the 2 first semesters inside Sciences Po. And then it will vary a little bit. For some schools, it's the 3rd semester, and for other schools, the 4th semester, where you have to build your own project outside Sciences Po. Of course, that if you like doing an internship in Paris, you can still have access to the campus, to the library, and etc., to all our facilities because you have your student card. But you are not taking courses, you are not academically dependent of Sciences Po. You are building this experience outside Sciences Po. And this is something that it's quite different from other universities. Most of our students, if they don't have like if they didn't have worked before, they will seize this opportunity to do an internship. But you also have like the exchange program and the master's thesis option as well. And the last thing, it's about English proficiency or French proficiency to apply to this, to our programs and to this scholarship. So something new, you have to submit your language certificate by the deadline that you have to submit your application and ask for the scholarship. We don't accept anymore that you apply without the language certificate and you send us after. No, if we don't see your language certificate in the application by the time that you submit it, so before December 3rd, we cannot accept your application. This is something new. We had a lot of problems in the past because we are doing some exceptions and trying to wait students to pass the language certificate, but this has changed. So it's for this year and the next ones. Please organize yourself to take the certificates. The list of certificates that we accept is in our admission webpage, and the level is usually C1, but there are a few exceptions. Take a look at it as well.
That's really important information, Larissa. I'll make sure to send that to you guys via email as well, alongside a copy of this recording and the Larissa's email, the general or generic inbox. And just there's one more question, Larissa, from Macarena. She'd like to know how competitive the scholarship is. For example, how many people applied last year?
Usually we don't publish this kind of information. It's quite confidential because this is a decision for a specific jury. But I encourage you to apply anyways, meaning if it was really competitive, meaning you could never have this scholarship, I would be honest and give you more or less of information, but no, you have a lot of chances. Unfortunately, you would like to receive more applications for Chileans, and so we encourage you. You have a lot of chances of getting it. Of course, you depend on your academic excellence, on your project. So you please like take your time to build your application. You need to understand what is Sciences Po. What do you want when you are inside Sciences Po? Your motivation letter, your project that you are indicating to us, it depends on knowing Sciences Po and what we can offer you. Because we don't want students that only want, oh, I just want to study political science. Okay, but you can study this in any university in the world. So why Sciences Po? Why Sciences Po has to offer you what gets your attention inside Sciences Po. And of course, once you're at Sciences Po, you can change your project, you can change the policy stream that you were may thinking when you were applying, the thematic or regional concentration. This is not a problem at all, but take your time, invest your time to build this application. And I really encourage you. I know there is a cost to apply, but I think it's worth it if you're realistic, meaning if you have a good academic and professional profile, because we don't share the numbers, but we are missing excellent Chilean students in our university.
Yes, so definitely searching for more Chilean representation there at Sciences Po. And again, we would encourage applicants to not sort of be afraid of the prestige, so to say, of Sciences Po. It's certainly a reachable, alcanzable university. And we do hope you feel encouraged to apply and that this information has been helpful in terms of how you go about the application process. So as Daniela has said, you might want to get to it and get the paperwork ready, especially the language certificate. And we'll, of course, send all this information to you via email so that it's on hand when you go to apply. So thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you, Daniela and Larissa, for your time.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Daniela. It was a pleasure to introduce Sciences Po to all of you. I hope to see you here next year, or if you are planning for 2-3 years after, you still have time to do it.
Exactly. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Take care. Hope you enjoy your day.
Take care. Bye.